Hey, Cabo, it's time for Second Sundays. And today we are talking about the money and African spirituality. Ekabo, drop a comment as you come in. Let me know you're here. Give thanks. We're gonna find out today why things cost money in African spirituality. We're gonna find out what costs money and what doesn't, if you actually do have to pay for everything, or if there are things that you don't pay for. We're going to talk all about this money. Hey, Leather Minion, good to see you. Tabitha back in the building from prayer this morning. Thank you to everybody that was there. Jess, Nishatu, too blessed to be stressed in the front row. Kahisa, hey, Diana, back in the house. Lakara, we back. Talma, Sudo, Divinely Neek, Yesu, Sharonda, Abra, Imani, hey, Divine, Nirvana, hey, Lakita, hey, Akinyele, Nandi, Ekabo, hey, Ifa Bemiga, give thanks. We're back in the building talking about this important idea and concept and instrument and tool of money and its connection to African spirituality. Yes, so give thanks. It's Ose Oya. And Oya, the queen of the marketplace, always about change and exchange. Nikki, I'm glad you caught it too. Allison, blessings, Alaire, spiritually seeking. Troyton, okay, my brother. Caro, hey. Oboato, Ekeko, me, Ravel, blessings, blessings. We are back in the building. It's Second Sunday. We give thanks for each and every one of you who are in the building with us for Second Sundays, when we discuss a topic in African spirituality and I take your questions. So feel free to drop them into the chat. I'll get to as many as I can during the broadcast, and then, I come back into the comments and answer some more later. We're grateful for a powerful, powerful, powerful prayer and meditation this morning. Just so powerful, so powerful, so powerful. Barrett, if you weren't there with us, please go back and experience the replay. We were calling on our ancestors. Egunde ajuba timbole. Egunde ajuba timbole. Oh. Give thanks, give thanks, give thanks, give thanks. We are just so joyous, so honored and happy to be back together. Yes, Kamara, Adelana, give thanks, give thanks. Good to have you with us when we are going to be talking about money and African spirituality. We're going to be talking about money and wealth. We're going to be talking about the importance of money and what money really means, what wealth really means. Iya Lode in the house. Sudo. Thank you. I'm so glad you enjoyed this morning. Yes. Yes, yes, the wealth of our ancestors we talked about this morning, and the fact that our ancestors have given us so much, so many riches, so much in the way of spirituality, in the way of cultivation of the land, in the way of everything, architecture, art, intelligence to understand things and pass down the understanding of our Ori, the understanding of our Orisha. Everything that has been passed down to us and everything that we have is as a result of the cumulative wisdom and wealth of our ancestors. So we give thanks always. I give thanks to my Egun. I do pueo. I do pue. Egun. Bawasheo. You know how we do when we come into space together. I want to invite us to just take a nice deep breath in through our noses and out through our mouths. Roll them shoulders back. Open up that chest, that heart space. Ogumo, yay. In through our noses again. Out through our mouths. Oya's first husband. In that heart space one more time. In through our nose. And out through our mouths. Give thanks. Ashe. We are grateful to Olodumare, the ancestors, the Orisha, and all of our divine beings for this precious time together when we get to laugh and learn and spend time as a community in an Ase Ire family. We are grateful, grateful, grateful. I pray for all of my teachers, elders, and the divine to speak well through me. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Give thanks, give thanks, give thanks. So money and African spirituality. Let us jump right into our topic. What is money? Well, first of all, money in Yoruba, any of my Yoruba students, you know that money is owo. Owo is the word for money. So we call money owo. And we always pray. If you have my mojuba, you know our first prayer is for Ire Owo. Ire Owo. First Ire. The first Ire. That is our very first Ire. So I'm gonna, I like to bust some myths when I'm speaking. And so one of the first myths we gonna bust, and one of the first things we gonna let go of, is this idea that money is evil, that money is the root of evil, and that money is evil. No, 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 no. Put that out of your mind. It's a myth, okay? Money, owo, is a means of exchange. It's not necessarily the dollars, cents, and naira that we are accustomed to as money, but I want us to shift our understanding of money, owo, a means of exchange. The fact that, bust it wide open, Tabitha, that's a myth, right? It's not evil, it is a means of exchange. Understand that African spirituality is all about reciprocity. Reciprocity. Say it with me. Reciprocity, right? It is about exchange. Everything that we do is about exchange. Everything that happens in our bodies is about exchange, right? In exchange for the oxygen we take in, we extract the oxygen. We extract the oxygen from the air, and we breathe out carbon dioxide, which feeds the trees that made the oxygen that went into the air that we then breathed in to feed our bodies, right? Everything. Go ahead, take another deep breath. Right? Within our lungs right now, exchange is taking place. And we are reciprocally contributing back to the environment. So understand that owo, what we call money, but the concept of owo in Yoruba is a means of exchange, right? It is a way to exchange energy for energy on some level, right? Energy for energy, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. Owo means of exchange. We also have oro, which is wealth, right? And this is all the goodness and the value that is stored in us, right? That's stored in us. So if we have a vault where we have those things that are valuable for one reason or another, that is wealth. Our minds are wealth, right? Our minds constantly help us. Our Ori, go on and touch your Ori. You know, right? That if we want what? A house, a spouse, money, anything, we have to ask our Ori, because our Ori is the storehouse of wisdom And our Ori is what allows us to open and see the value of things. Understand that value, right, is somewhat arbitrary. What we consider valuable, diamonds, gold, these things, why do they mean something? Because we decided that they did, right? We decided that they did. We decided that they did. And so anything that we decide has value and that we store, that is wealth. The things that we use as a means of exchange every day, that is money, right? So that's the difference between owo and oro, right? And as Talma's saying, come on, fair exchange is no robbery. That's a beautiful saying. I've always loved it, because if we are exchanging energy for energy, which in our case, again, most of us in the Western world, that is what is the means of exchange, is money. When we go to work or do whatever job that we do, we earn this thing that we call money. And in turn, that we've exchanged our energy for it. We've exchanged 8 hours a day for it, some of us, right? Depending on what it is that we do. Some of us much more than that, right? For this stuff that we call money, that we've decided arbitrarily is valuable, because it is actually a storage place for our energy, right? It's the energy that we expend that we're now getting back, or the value that we offer to the world that we're now getting back in the form of this, what we call owo, right? And so when we're talking about African spirituality, one of the biggest things that often comes up is this idea of money, and why things cost money, why initiations cost money, why readings cost money, why money is always a part of the picture when we're talking about African spirituality. And it is really, this is the number one reason. So I'm gonna give y'all some other reasons, but we're gonna jump to number one, which is that it is about energy exchange. It's not about the money. It's about an exchange of energy. Now, what do we mean by that? What do we mean when we talk about exchanging energy? Well, first of all, when we talk about having spiritual work done, when we talk about getting readings, when we talk about being initiated, when we talk about doing any of these things, we have to understand that we are dealing with people who are professionals in their field, or we should be dealing with. And this is one thing I'm gonna point out, right? So what is a professional, right? So spiritual professionals are just that. They are professionals. But what does it mean to be a professional? A professional is one who professes, see the words right in there, knowledge and skills in a particular area, right? A professional is one who professes knowledge and skills in a particular area. Excuse me. And so if I put out my shingle and say that I'm a spiritual professional who is able to do readings for you, contact the spirit world on your behalf, understand what's actually happening when you're getting spiritual work, right? I've got to preach, come on. Understand what's actually happening. That person is calling on the divine on your behalf. That person is opening up the windows and the gates to heaven on your behalf, to the spiritual realm, right? As Iyalode always says, make sure it's important. Don't get me to call in Oshun and Shango and Oya from where they're at to come here over no nonsense, right? Excuse me. Ooh, I got a little tickle in my throat. You see, when you start trying to tell the truth, the Ajogun just want to choke you all about the throat chakra, right? But we're not going to let that happen. Ashe. Yes. One who professes his knowledge and skills. And so what has to happen in order for you to get that knowledge and to get those skills? You have to be trained. You have to go through certain processes yourself in order to even become one who can be considered a professional. So who do we consider professionals? Of course, doctors, lawyers, right? People who profess skills in their area, and we go to them and we trust them because why? They've had some training, right? You wouldn't go to a doctor who had not been to medical school just because they said they knew how to heal, and just because they said they knew how to perform surgery or something, maybe, maybe they do. Maybe they were given that. But they have to go through some processes, and they have to be vetted by others in order to prove that, right? And the same thing is true in the spiritual realm, right? Anybody that you're going to do spiritual work for you should have had some training. We're not just talking about, and understand, initiation is not training. Initiation is not training. Initiation is not training. Being initiated does not mean that a person has been trained in how to work for you, okay, and how to work for others. So that's one thing that we have to understand. So the point of this is that we should vet our spiritual professionals just like we would vet any other professional, right? You would not go to a doctor if you looked them up and you saw that they had 1 star and everybody was complaining and they had malpractice suits and they had different things going on. You wouldn't go to anybody and give them your money without finding out what they're about. And so the same thing should be true with spiritual practitioners. You should be asking people you know for recommendations, right? Don't just get out there trying to be cute. And this is something that I say. I actually wrote an article, and I want to invite you all to go on and check it out. The article is available at on Medium. So I do some writing on Medium. So it is going to be at medium.com/Funlayo E. Wood. That is my space on Medium. And I write about many different things over there, including what we talked about last second Sunday, polygamy, which I'm sure some of you will be interested in because that's always a hot topic. So this article, 5 reasons spirit workers be like, show me the money. This is the article that a lot of what I'm saying today is taken from. So I do invite you to go on over there and to check it out. And of course, I'm going to be adding some other goodies and tidbits as we go along. But yes, understand, again, yes, Deanna, initiation is not training. So vet people. Ask what kind of training they've had. Ask where they learned what they learned. Ask who their teachers are. Find out who they work with. It's okay, and it's expected, and it should be. Just like for a doctor, again, you would look for a degree on the wall or some kind of credential. We may not have paper credentials, but we have lineages and we have structure to what we're doing, right? This is not, African spirituality is not a lone wolf type of situation. It is a community thing. Remember, we always talk about that. Eniyan la shomi. People are my clothes. And so people should be able to vouch for whomever it is that you're seeking to work with. And not just one person, but several people. And don't just read the testimonials on their website, okay? Because people can get cute with that. Talk to living, breathing individuals. And then, of course, we know what we always got to do is go on and ask your Ori. Yes, you got to ask your Ori. You got to ask your Ori, right? And so it's very important to understand that that's the first thing to making sure that you don't end up paying, because there are a lot of there are unfortunately charlatans in every spiritual tradition. There are people who are not actually in the spiritual tradition, like those people who be in your inbox who pretend they are just to make money off of it. Every tradition, every walk has this. And so that's why we have to use our Oris, and we have to be discerning about where we get our information from, even when it's free. Be cautious. You know how they say there's no such thing as a free lunch. Even be cautious of the free stuff, because some of the free stuff is bull, and it's it's not what it needs to be. So discernment, understanding that, training, knowledge, right? So now let's talk about that. When we talk about this idea of energy exchange, using myself as an example, I went for 7 years worth of study in the PhD. I've been back and forth to Nigeria, lived there for a total of 18 months, taken Yoruba language classes for 6 years, paid for all of my own readings, my own initiations. We're not even talking about plane tickets and all of that, right? We total all of that up. Thousands. Worth every penny. But the point is that just like any other professional, right, I had to spend money to get the training that I have. I had to travel. I had to live uncomfortably at times. I had to work. I had to, it was blood, sweat, and tears. It's blood, sweat, and tears. And so any spiritual worker who really, again, has been through the training, who knows what they know, they will have been through something. They will have done some training. And a part of what you're paying for when you pay is their preparation. You're not paying for the 1 hour right now that we may spend together. You're paying for all the hours that I spent learning how to help you, right? Learning what to do, learning what to say, learning how to do what I do. And any spiritual worker that is a professional, right, who has been trained will have that. And again, professional does not mean that you have to have some specific certification. We don't have, and so beware of that too. People who are trying to sell courses and certify you as an Orisha or any of that kind of thing. As of now, that's not a thing. But again, you should be able to discuss them with other people in the community and see evidence of their work, see what they have done in the community, right? To know that they've paid their dues. Thank you, Alaire. Yes. Okay. So absolutely. Charlatans in the inbox. Let me, I always got to make this note and remind anybody, especially those who are new. And even here, listen, in the comments, they be all up in the comments. We block them as fast as we can and delete it. But please, 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 please know that no legitimate practitioner of any tradition whatsoever will ever in your life be in your inbox talking about the ancestors told them anything. Please don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe, people. No legitimate practitioner will ever do that. And understand, and I'm going to talk about it for a moment because y'all know I keep it 100. A lot of times, we want to feel special and chosen and like, oh my God, really? And that's how we get got. Know that when it's your time to approach spirit and it's your time to approach the ancestors and it's your time to approach spirit, period, you have to approach. It's not going to be as simple as the ancestors coming to your inbox. No, you going to have to go somewhere and do the work. You going to have to step up to the plate yourself. They not going to come knocking on your door. You knock on their door. In some cases, they will come to your dreams. They going to call you in different ways, but they not going to show up on Instagram and Facebook. Okay? So please don't go for that. I can't go for that. No, I got a song for everything. No can do. That's what you say to them inbox babalawos, okay? And like I said, most of them actually are not actual practitioners. They're just scammers who are, know that people are now interested in African spirituality and people are thirsty to be chosen. And both of that is a dangerous combination. It's a dangerous combination. Know that we have to walk through the door. That's the other thing about the money. It solidifies the exchange, right? Again, we're talking about exchange of energy. Owo exchange, means of exchange of energy. When you go, for instance, to my website, we're doing a lot of things virtual right now. And when you press those buttons to go boop, that's a commitment. Right? That's a commitment. You have sent energy my way and you've made a commitment, not to me, but to yourself and to spirit, right? You have exchanged some of your energy, right? You have exchanged some of your energy for the energy that I'm going to give you, right? That's what it is. And so that is a part of what the money does as well. It commits us. It says, yes, I have exchanged my energy for this instrument that we call money, and I'm now making the decision. I've asked my Ori. I'm making the decision to exchange some of my energy for the energy I'm about to get back. Come on, hello somebody. I don't know if you hear me. As you with me, I know you are, right? That is what this is about. It's a commitment. It's committing some of this, the energy that you spent getting that money, that you're now slapping down like the big joker saying, I'm ready, I'm committed, right? When we get ready to do initiations, what happens, depending on your house, but the way that we do it, of course, because it is a large amount, we allow payment in installments. And so when you pay your first installment, that right there, that starts the ceremony. That is you telling the Orisha, I am taking a step towards you. I am committing the energy that I spent to get this money for the energy that you, Orisha, are going to give me, right? And that is what that is about. So understand what you're actually doing when you pay for energy exchange, when you pay for spiritual work. You're paying for the exchange. You are exchanging energy. You're not paying for anything, but you're exchanging energy, right? And you're making sure, again, that you vet your practitioners to be sure that it's worth the energy you're exchanging, because you do work hard for your money. Look, I don't want nobody to pay for nothing and not get what they're supposed to get, especially when you're dealing with me, right? You work hard for it. That's your energy. So you should never exchange your energy for anything that is subpar or not worth it. So you got to check. You got to check. You got to check. Ooh, divinely neek. I fell for the banana in the tailpipe. Oh, so sorry, you Pele. Sometimes we have to have those lessons. And thank you for your honesty. It happens. And that's the thing. It's like Bob Marley said, the people who do evil and negative never sleep. As Dr. Latoya is saying here, they are persistent. So we have to be persistent. That's why I'm persistent. That's why I'm persistently here every Sunday, every Wednesday, every second Sunday, telling y'all what the real deal is, because those people in your inbox are going to be persistent. Okay. And I want to be just as persistent and more persistent than they are. Ashe, ashe, ashe. So we have our owo, our means of exchange. We have our oro, which is stored wealth. I want to share as well that the cowrie, the golden cowrie, the symbol of Ase Ire, is called Owo Oshun. Oshun's means of exchange. Oshun's money, right? And so when we do divination with Erindin Logun, so cowrie shells were currency in Yoruba land, right? And this is one of the reasons why we see so many things decorated with cowrie shells, because listen, don't think making it rain is new, okay? Don't think making it rain just came now. Making it rain been around. We've been making it rain since been making it rain since been. Have you ever seen any of the Asante Henes in the Akan Asante Henes, the way they dripping, rings on every finger like Mama Coco who's about to come to the community, dripping. Just money everywhere. That was a way of showing the blessing and the goodness that the spirits have brought to us, right? That was a way. Understand that a part of when we pour libation, yes, we are pouring to the ancestors and their realm is in the ground, but understand on a mundane level too, we're showing all of the means of exchange that we got, that we can afford to pour alcohol that's expensive and honey that's expensive and palm oil that's expensive out on the ground, right? That's a part, like, that's flossing. That's that ancestral flossing. Don't think it's new. We are not new to this. We are true to this. And understand that all of it is about showing and giving thanks, right? We give thanks. When we decorate ourselves with the cowries, the beads as well, all of these were money. They were things that had stored value. And so we have to understand, right, that part of this is about showing the blessings and giving thanks and pouring it out and knowing that you're going to get some more. Right? Knowing that more is going to come, not being afraid of letting go of it. Not saying, oh, I ain't never going to get no more. Adupwe. Glad you're grateful, Alaire. Give thanks. Oh, Leather Minion brought a cowrie shell necklace a year ago. Hey, 16 shells. Ready. Ashe. As above, so below. Adupwe. Yes. Ashe, gratitude to you, Khadija, for being with us. So understand, nothing evil about money, as we said. We busted that myth. Money is not the root of evil. It is, and even the quote, listen, even the quote here, people are misquoting. Come on, preachers, kids, you know I gotta correct the biblical quote. It is the love of money. Ha! Not money. It is the love of money, which is what? Greed, which is the root of evil. Not money, but the love of it. The love, the desire. Here's what it really is. And when we even go deeper into that, the desire to get without exchange, right? That's greed. The desire to have all the means of exchange. The desire to just extract without having to give anything back. That is the root of evil, right? That is the root of evil. That is the root of evil, right? That is the root of evil. So please don't, some of us, the reason why we might not have as much of the means of exchange that we need is because we are pushing it away and saying, oh no, money's bad. No, money is good. Give me all of the money, not all of it. Give me a good portion. Give me my portion. Give me my portion. And call it into yourself. No, we always want to have the means of exchange enough to get what we need in life, because that's what it is. We need it for food. We need it for clothes. That's why it is the first Ire. Our ancestors, they are very brilliant. Ire Owo, number one, right? Next myth we're going to bust to today is that spiritual work didn't cost anything in Africa. Lies. Yes, Lakara, give me my portion. Alair, we got to open them hands, let it flow, right? Ashe, get and give, right? Yes, the get and give is universal principle. Reciprocity is universal principle. So spiritual work absolutely cost on the continent and still does. Now, it may not cost dollars and naira before, of course, ancient and traditionally, but it definitely costs. You had to bring an animal, right? That wasn't just the animal that you were bringing for your own sacrifice, but another one for the priest. You had to, in some cases, if you were going to learn from someone and gain their knowledge, you would live in their house and work for them for a period of time. Okay, so as we're talking about energy, there was always energy exchange. You would live in the house of your Orisha or your Babalawo. You would clean up for them. You would clean the shrines. You would do basically everything that they asked you to do. And that was the exchange that you were giving in exchange for what you were learning. So please don't ever think that just because we weren't laying down dollars that it didn't cost anything. Okay, it always costs. Everything costs, because reciprocity is the name of the game in the universe. Reciprocity, Baba Wande Abimbala very beautifully in his classic text, Ifa Will Mend Our Broken World, he says that one of the ethoses of Ifa and of Orisha and of Yoruba culture, and it is this idea of reciprocity, that if we are walking and we step on a stick and break it, if we're walking and we step on a stick and break it, we should stop and take a moment to think about what it would feel like to be broken. If we step on a stick and break it, we should think about what it might feel like to be broken. And so, right, reciprocity, there's always the idea of exchange. And again, the means might have changed, but exchange has always been there and should always be there, right? Now, relatedly, another myth, though, is that you have to pay to do anything in African spirituality, and that is not true, right? There's plenty that you can do without paying a dime, right? There's plenty that you can do without paying a dime. Plenty. First of all, you can join us as you do on Sundays, right? And Wednesdays. There are lots of wonderful people who give out fabulous information, of course, after you vet them fabulous information being offered myself. Yalo de Yeyefini. I know Dr. Latoya does lives at times. Many people in our community, many people. Yeah, Jessica over at Hell Notes for Beauty, who, definitely check out her blog, hellnotesforbeauty.com. Yeah, Jessica, who spoke at the Black Spirit Solstice Summit. Many of us give a lot of information out for free. So again, it's about asking your Ori and taking the time to look through the information and see what resonates with your spirit, right? The other thing we have, of course, is, oh, thank you, Allison. Thank you so much. We have our prayer, right? Understand that. I think, we get caught up with the physicality of African spirituality a lot of the time. And that's understandable because all of this stuff is beautiful, right? The shrines, everything, they're gorgeous. They're enthralling. They are centers of energy. They are what's called Oju, the face of sacrifice, Oju Ebo, right? The face of sacrifice. They are places for us to come as focal points, right? But understand that ultimately everything that's happening is still happening internally. We are talking to spirit. We are talking to something that is immaterial. And so you do not have to pay to pray. You ain't got to pay to pray, right? You can pray just to make it today, anytime that you like. You can close your eyes. You can breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth, and say, I give thanks to Olodumare, the ancestors, and the Orisha. Do that right now. I give thanks for my breath. I call in all of the highest good. I call in Ire Bogbo. Ashe. Ashe. Adupwe. That right there. You could do that all day. All it's going to cost you is what? Your most precious commodity, which is time and energy. And that's the thing we don't want to spend a lot of the time. Some of us be so eager to throw the money at something instead of spending the time and the energy, again, which is the true wealth, which is the true exchange, right? Which is the true magic. The true magic. It's within you. Oh, thank you, Megan. You are divine too, and you are divinely aligned. Ashe, ashe, ashe. Ashe, yes, Nandi. No, help those bugs. I'm always having my husband take bugs outside. I don't like killing if I don't have to, right? If it's not Ebo, right? But know that you don't have to pay to pray. You can turn within at any time. Just dedicate the time and the energy. That's your true wealth. The time, the energy, right? Things that are very low cost, of course, are like my prayer book that many of you have. That's why I did that, so that you know, for what, $9, $8.88. You get that, and that's a tool that you can use forever. Always praying over yourself, calling in the good, saying Kosi to the negative. Okay? That is the starting point. That is the starting point. Initiation is not the starting point. Right? Nothing that costs you money is the starting point. Thank you. I'm glad you like that, Thalma. Yes, yes, yes. Give thanks. You don't have to pay to pray. You gotta just dedicate the time, and yes, set the intention. Have the intention to connect with your ancestors. Once you set an intention, right, as Iya Funlayo says, energy flows where intention goes. So set your intention. I'm intending to connect with all of my high and honorable ancestors. Just saying that, right? Just saying it. It brings a power into you. It brings a power into you, right? We give thanks. We give thanks. We give thanks. Now, to talk just a little bit about what's reasonable, right? So we've talked about the fact that money is a means of exchange. Oh, we've talked about the fact that spiritual professionals are professionals who are professing knowledge and skills and who should have done some type of training and study. We've talked about the fact that it is energy exchange that we're actually getting at, and that money is just a way of storing our energy, right? That we've spent. And so now, what's reasonable, right? What's reasonable to pay for things? Let's talk about that. When we're talking about a divination, a consultation, and I'll tell you how we make sense of what's reasonable to pay is that it would be what is reasonable to pay for a similar service from another professional, right? So let's think about a reading. A reading that's 30 minutes to an hour, like thinking about my readings, let's say, $50 for 30 minutes and $95 for 60 minutes. That is very much on par with what you would pay any other professional for the same amount of time. Right? If you want to talk to a lawyer, well, actually, probably you ain't gonna talk to no lawyer for $50, but right, some actually, some of our community lawyers out there. Shout out to our sister Danielle Boaz, right? Some lawyers out here doing their things, right? Oh, Ashe, thank you, Sister Kamara. Give thanks, give thanks, right? But that it is the same amount that you would pay to speak to a similarly trained professional. Right? So it makes sense that that's how much it would cost. And I would say on average, that's about the average cost, somewhere between $50 or a little bit less than that and $100 or $150, depending on the type of reading that's being done, depending on something like an astrological natal chart might cost more because that's something you would only have done once and it's very extensive. So it would probably take the astrologer more than an hour to do it, probably a few hours, right? So if we're thinking about, let's say it costs $300 and you think about the fact, okay, it might take them 5 hours to do that. You know what I mean? So certain things you have to understand the work that actually goes into it. And a lot of times people don't see, like in The Wizard of Oz, they don't see the man behind the curtain, right? They just see the front side, but they don't see everything that went into it. So readings, 50 to 150, again, depending on the type of reading that you're getting done. That's a reasonable price to pay. Again, for someone you have vetted and know that they have the training and ability to do what they say they're able to do. Now, in terms of initiations and other things, the costs of that can vary very widely. But I would say that reasonably speaking, if we're talking about receiving one shrine, one Orisha shrine of any type, somewhere between $800 and $1,500 is reasonable for that, right? Somewhere in that area, one shrine. We're not talking about an initiation. We're talking about receiving one shrine. So if you are told you need to receive Obatala or receive Oshun or get your hand of Ifa, those are the types of things I'm talking about. And that is about the range of price, right? 800 to about 1,500. That's reasonable. Somebody told me, has told me some other prices that people are talking about $5,000 to get a hand of Ifa. No, right? It's too much. So that's reasonable for that type of ceremony. Now, if we're talking about full initiation, now, of course, and understand energy exchange. First of all, that when an initiation is conducted, several priests need to be there, right? Not just one, not two, not even three, but as many as possible is really what would traditionally happen. Like my initiation in Ishawa Remo, shout out to Maluo and Iya in Ishawa Remo in Nigeria, the whole town was there, right? As many priests as possible are supposed to be there. And so that's a part of everybody has to get a little bit of energy exchange, right? And then depending on how the ceremonies are done, you've got food, you've got here in the diaspora, it tends to cost more because oftentimes places have to be rented to do the work. Animals have to be bought, which are quite expensive here. I don't know if how many of you have bought a goat, but they can cost a couple of $100s each, depending, right? And things of that nature. So understand that what's being paid for is all of that. And so a traditional Isheshe Lagba initiation, depending to one Orisha, somewhere in the range between 3 to 5,000 is typically reasonable for that, right? If we're talking a Lukumi initiation, in which you were going to receive more than one or a set of Orisha, then somewhere in the range of 10,000 is usually what it costs for that. Okay, and so again, understand that Lukumi initiation and Isheshe initiation are different. They are conducted differently. They take different amounts of time. If you're doing, and that's why the cost varies so widely, where you could see, for instance, $3,000, let's say, if a person was to be initiated to one Orisha in Isheshe Lagba, that could be. And then in Lukumi, you're going to receive a set of Orisha. It's a different type of ceremony. Receive more than one. It typically takes 7 days, right? Whereas Isheshe Lagba initiations to one Orisha might be 3 days. So there's a lot of variation in the amount of energy that's taken, the amount of priests that have to be involved, whether you have to rent spaces, whether you're doing it here or on the continent. All of those types of things have to be taken into consideration. So understand that what I'm giving is a range, right? Now, if people start going over $10,000 and start 20 and 25 and 100, okay, no, right? That's out of pocket. It's out of pocket. Okay, so just wanted to give you some of those reasonable ranges, right? Lakara, good. I'm glad it sounds like you understand what has to go into everything, right? So if you have the whole town, if you have 5-10 priests there for 3 days, off of work for 3 days, there cooking, cleaning, doing all the ceremonies, having to have, and understand that whatever, again, you don't see what's behind the curtain, whatever's happening at that moment, there was a lot of stuff that had to happen before that. Like, and we don't find that out. When you are the recipient of the work, you actually don't find out all that goes into it until later when you're now doing the work for others. And you say, oh, y'all had to do all of this before I even came into the room? Jeez, right? That's a lot. And so again, professionalization, this idea that one has to be trained. You have to be trained on how to do initiations. You have to be trained on how to do readings. All of this takes time and energy. Okay, so know that we don't want to see any of you ever get taken advantage of. That is the bane of my existence. I never want to see anybody get taken advantage of. I never want to see that ever. And so that is why I give, as much as I give and provide as much as I provide. Yeshua, so receiving one Orisha shouldn't be, generally speaking, no, it shouldn't. More than $5,000, no, it really should be less than that for one. Unless there's some that no. But it should not be more than 5,000 for sure. Okay. Yes, preparation, Azure. Yes, I'm glad you're here. And it should be reasonable, again, because this is not about getting rich. Ifa will tell us this is not about getting rich. This is about helping the community, right? But we help the community and we still, of course, have to live, right? Like me, I'm your your favorite scholar priestess full-time now. This is what I do. I'm dedicated to the community. And so that is why I invite you always to support and to participate in the ministry of giving, because, I have to be able to give cola nuts to my shrine so I can pray for you, right? And so it's very, it's all about exchange. It's all about exchange, and only give to that which gives back to you, right? This is not about, I want to say something, because I know some people have had some very, unfortunate experiences with so-called elders and so-called priests in our community. And again, it is very important to vet people. Ifa says that good people are as rare as a spare eye. And don't none of us have a spare eye in our back pocket. So that tells you how rare. And it doesn't mean that we should, there is goodness in everybody. But one of the realities that, we have to face is that, unfortunately, greed is real. Greed is real. And so, there are those who take advantage. And so we have to know, what it's about. And yes, again, I see y'all day. Thank you. The priests have to do their own rituals to prepare for you. Right? We have to get our own readings. We have to do our own spiritual baths, our own things, just to be able to prepare ourselves to pass whatever ashe we're going to pass to you. So, please understand. And again, if your practitioner is worth their salt, they will do all of these things. So please vet anybody. Please vet anybody. Please vet anybody. Leather Minion says, I've heard that if you are meant to be initiation, the Owo will come. It's true. Oh, Lotoni, very, very true. Listen, let me tell you that, I'm going to just wave my hand in the air as a testimony to that, because not only did the money come, everything came. When Orisha came to me, they came in like gangbusters. And I see now, that I was just thinking today about how they've played chess with me and how I didn't understand why my path was so different from some other people's. And I had to go full speed. It was like, do not pass go, do not collect $200. You're going to get all the initiations today to right now. Right? And they brought the money, importantly, because I was like, well, how am I going to do all this? I don't have. And they was like, yes, you do. Here, boop. But listen, here's what I said. Let me tell you the secret of how I got the money for my initiation. Here's the secret. I'm going to tell you exactly what I did. I took a deep breath. I opened up my hands. I looked up. I looked down. I said, I'm open. Whatever it is that I'm supposed to do, I will do it. If I am meant for all that you're telling me I'm meant for, make it happen, and I will do it. That's it. That's what I did. And when I tell you that the people came, the money came, everything just lined up just like that. When I made that commitment, when I said, I will do it, you make it happen and I will do it, I didn't ask no questions. I didn't say, well, I'll do it if, tell me what I need to do and I will do it. That's what I said. And the next thing I know, I had $10,000 and I was on a plane to Nigeria and I was like, and that's it, right? Just say, I will do it. I will do it, right? It's no small thing. You got to be ready. People say they ready. Let me listen. People don't be ready. People be saying they ready. And again, like I said, that is why the commitment of the Owo is so important, because when you put that Owo down, that's that commitment. That's saying, I will do it. I will do it. I see my sister Khadija saying, she said the same. I will do it. Tell me what needs to be done and I will do it. Show me, right? The desire and obedience. Yes, equals fulfillment. I love that. I love that, right? So do it. Just know that, open your spirit. And yes, Azure, you already know I had to ask my Ori, right? And at a couple of moments, I was like, yo, Ori, where you done led me to, Shun? Like, what we doing, baby? What we doing? I was they had me shook for a minute, but then I was able to see. Oh, gosh, that is too funny. Oh, yes, for real though, for real. Always ask your Ori, always be guided. And Be open. Know that it will come. Don't be afraid of this. Don't be afraid that, oh, if I get told I need to get initiated, I'm not going to have the money. That's already showing lack of faith. That's already showing lack of faith. All right? So, give thanks. Oh, Nandi wants me to speak about the cost of cola and the sacrifice, but the richness and how invaluable it is. Aha. Obi cola. Obi ni beiku. Obi ni bearun. Obi ni benkankang brukula ye. Obi. Cola nuts. Thank you for mentioning this, because cola nut is wealth, and cola nut has been a means of exchange all throughout West Africa in a similar way that the cowrie shells have been, right? And so cola nut, very, very, very important. Cola nut, very important. It is said that it is cola nut that pushes away death. It is cola nut that pushes away sickness. It is cola nut that pushes away any negativity around us. And so when we offer the cola nut to our shrines, right, we are literally pushing away death. We are pushing away negativity. We are pushing away so many things, right, that are negative from us. And we are pulling in Ire Owo, Ire Omo, and Ire Aiku to ourselves. We are pulling those things into ourselves. So yes, cola costs money, as I talk about in the article that I invited you to read over at Medium, right? It costs, cola nuts cost more than lobster, pound for pound, okay? Cola nuts are pricey here in the diaspora, but if we're talking about pushing away death, if we are talking about pushing away sickness, if we are talking about bringing in all of the wealth that we desire, if we are talking about opening up our lives to every piece of goodness, what will you pay for that? What will you pay for that? What would you pay for that? What would you pay for that? What would you pay for that? All right? Ashe. It's priceless. It's priceless. Sister Michelle, I see your question about speaking about initiation. Does everyone have to shave their heads? The short answer is yes. Okay. And now you will see some who, when we're talking about, then this is when we're talking about full initiation. Understand what any initiation is a rebirth, right? We are being reborn as new people, as new beings. We are having our energy fully refreshed. And so that is what the shaving of the head represents, right? The shaving of the head represents new energy, new life, represents, listen, hair. Understand what hair is. Hair is the only dead cells that stays on our body. Did you know that? Right? Every other cell on your body regenerates itself at least every 7 years. You get a whole new body, right? The cells regenerate themselves. But hair is the only dead energy that stays hanging on you, right? And so understand you should be running to cut your hair. And also understand that there are times when we may feel called to shave or cut our hair when we're not being initiated, right? That's not the only instance, but in the Orisha tradition, that is why we do that. That is why we do that, all right? And so the hair that's hanging on our heads, all of that, the locks and things, I love my locks, but I do a lot of work on my hair, right? To make sure that all of this that's hanging here, that's holding all of the energy, holding everything, holding it all, right? That is the purpose of shaving the hair. That is the reason why we can feel so free after doing that, whether it's in the context of an initiation or in any other context, right? And so that is what that is about. Now, rarely in divination, a person will be told not to cut their hair or that they don't have to. And I'm putting that in quotes because to even ask about that, to even, that's showing that on some level, the hair is more important than whatever you feel you're about to get from that divinity, right? If one is so attached to this physical thing hanging on their head, right, that they can't sacrifice it. Again, it's that's a part of the sacrifice. This is the other thing we want to understand. Exchange, energy exchange and sacrifice. Very, very, very important. I'm going to tell you a story. So someone I knew, a client, got initiated and was told that they didn't have to cut their hair, right? The person had long locks and was told they didn't have to cut them. Okay, and I'm going to tell you how all the spirits be working together. Let me tell you, because of course we keep everything in its own lane, but you know that Iya works with a lot of different modalities, right? And so I went to see the person, and I saw them still with their hair long. And I said, well, how are you? I said, how is it that you just got initiated and you still have 20 years worth of locks hanging on your head? They said, oh, well, I asked Ifa if I could not cut my hair, and Ifa said that I didn't have to. I said, okay, all right. Now, and actually, let me take a step back. Even before I asked that specific question, right, as soon as I came in and I started, doing what I do to prepare the space and started calling in the spirits, I said, something's going on with your head. There's some energy. I'm like, oh no, we probably gonna need to do a rogation. I'm feeling, but we'll see. And then when I started pulling my cards and doing all the things that I do, it was head energy, head energy, head energy, hair energy, energy. I was like, okay, this is interesting. And so then we got into the conversation and I said, wait a minute, didn't you tell me you just got initiated and you still have these long locks? And then the conversation about I was told I didn't have to. Now, of course, Ifa, and I told you, Eshu and Ifa will definitely play with you because they know that, and again, this is the beauty of spirit, right? Because Ifa knew that if the reading, let's say, had said, no, you must cut your hair, you must do this, that the person may not have gone through with the initiation. Right? They might have turned a different way. They might not have gotten something that they needed because of the fact that they were being mandated to cut their hair. But guess what happened? At that time, when I was doing this follow-up reading now, right? They were told that was the sacrifice. Understand that it's a sacrifice. That was the sacrifice that they were meant to make. Okay? And that by not making that sacrifice, they were not getting the fullness of the blessing from the initiation. And so the person ended up going ahead and cutting the hair themselves. And then saw so many of their blessings open up after that. So understanding that it is absolutely a sacrifice. It is absolutely a sacrifice. And we give thanks. We give thanks for it. Lily, I see your comments here about the hair and it regenerating. Thank you for sharing that perspective. And I know that definitely many cultures do not believe in cutting off their hair because it is, don't get me wrong. When I say it's dead, I don't mean that there's no life or it's powerful. There's still power running through it. Right? There's still energy and it's holding all of our energy. And yes, in many spiritual traditions, the idea is that we are meant to keep that energy with us, right? And that's our power, similarly to the story of Samson. But in our ideology as Orisha, as people in Orisha tradition, we see that we weigh, right? There's a weighing of it. Is the power that it's holding or the energy that it's holding more weight right now? And so at a certain point, the energy that is holding for us has to be cleansed so that new energy and different energy can be seated within us. Ashe, ashe, ashe. We give thanks, we give thanks, we give thanks. And thank you so much for sharing that, and also about cutting your hair after your transformation. Yeah, it's powerful. It's powerful. It's powerful. It's powerful. It's absolutely powerful to shed. Um, thank you for sharing that. That is powerful. And Leather Minion saying it's common for people coming out of depression. Absolutely. 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 And it's the reason why at times we get the urge, right? But yeah, understand again, coming back to this topic of money, that the exchange is your energy. The exchange is what you do, right? The exchange is I worked for this and now I'm exchanging it, right? But it's not the only means of exchange, because understand you can pay for almost anything, but that doesn't mean that you're going to get the full benefit of it. Just like the person I just mentioned, they paid for the initiation, it was done, but they weren't really getting the fullness of the blessing until they made that sacrifice, right, of the hair. And so that is, important, important. Whoa, whoa. Adetoyisi said, I cut off my locks and saved them and then reattached them. Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, I've heard people doing this. Nowadays, there are a lot of interesting practices going on. I've heard about that. And you see, as I always say, Africans are and always have been scientists. So we experiment. So you did it and you saw that it wasn't a good thing. Nobody had to tell you that. Your Ori told you that. Your Ori was like, yo, what you doing? We let all that go and now you bringing it back. Right? We got to let it go and understand that energy exchange. Give thanks. Michelle says, I cut all my hair off 5 years ago before I knew about this path. It's been everything. Give thanks, give thanks, give thanks. It's absolutely in alignment. Absolutely in alignment. Give thanks, give thanks, give thanks, give thanks. Just a couple of more questions as we get ready to close out. I see a couple of things about where was that? Yeah, you funny. Heard about getting a discount for not shaving the head. Listen, that's another thing I'll say. It's okay to compare, of course, and again, go with what makes sense in terms of how much money you're spending for things, but understand that cheaper, trying to find the cheapest, right? That's not always the way to go with this or with anything. Like, understand, you're worth it as long as what the price of exchange is in the reasonable ranges that I've mentioned. Don't try to lowball or cheapo yourself, because just don't do it. So in terms of staying wealthy, Productions asks, what can you tell me what staying close to a particular Orisha means? It just means just that. Stay close. Think about them. Pray to them. Give offerings to them. Stay close. Just like, if I told you to stay close to your mama, you would hold her hand, you would, hold her skirt. Stay close. That's it. It's nothing more complicated than that. So pray, learn Oriki to them, learn prayers, learn songs, sing the songs. That's it. All right? Sing, pray. If you're told to stay close to Oshun, spend time at riverbanks, talk to the water. Right? If you're told to stay close to Abatala, you can go to high places. That's why I've always loved high places. I grew up on the 10th floor looking down Fifth Avenue. So that wide, expansive city view just always does something to me. And I love being high up. So, go ahead and, just connect in that way. It's just that simple. Staying close. Staying close. O'Shea D, he who pays his debt remains free. That's right. Oh, don't be indebted. That's the other thing too. Make sure that, it's not really a good thing. Even if your spiritualist allows it, it's not the best thing to do spiritual work on credit. Especially if you don't know, just overall, it's not the best thing to do that. It's best to wait until you can exchange the energy, because ultimately whatever's done for you isn't really complete until you've actually exchanged your energy for it, right? So it can get a little bit hairy. Yes, 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 yes. Let's see. How do I properly make offerings to Orisha as an uninitiated person? The best way is to connect with a priest and have them make the offering on your behalf at their shrine, right? Many priests do this. If you have received an Odu, that means that you're connected at least to the person who gave you your hand of Ifa. So you can speak to them and ask them to make offerings on your behalf. And then you can also take offerings to where those Orisha reside in nature. And I know Iyalode Fini, she has many, many things on her YouTube channel, lots of offerings. So please do go ahead and follow her. That's her speciality, is offer giving, offerings to the community and things that people who are uninitiated. And please know too, I wanted to say, because somebody asked me about it, that anything I share and anything that Iyalode and any of our practitioners in our circle here at Ase Ire, anything that we share publicly is for the public. You can do it. If I share something, it's for you. You can do it. So don't think anything that you have to be initiated to do, we wouldn't share. Okay? We wouldn't share it with the public. So please know that anything that we share is for you, that you can do it. If we share an offering, you can do the offering. If we share a prayer, you can say the prayer. And not only can you, we encourage you to do it, right? To build a relationship with spirit before you start spending money for things. Because, like, that is what is going to help you to, that is what is going to help you. All right. So to make that's what is going to help you to make the connection to Orisha, so that if you even want to go any further, right? So get my ebook. Go on over to aseire.com. If you don't have it, go today. If you have $8.88, go right now to aseire.com. Click I want to, get the ebook and get it, right? So that you can say the prayers every day and connect. This is a part of how you connect. When you ask about how to connect with spirit, that is how you connect, right? That's how you connect. Spirit is so amazing. It is Obatala. I was told to stay close to, give thanks. Well, that's why you here. So you close to Obatala just being up in here. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Oh, yes. Also important, Iyalode, she be in here dropping jewels with us. If you pray to Orisha or any other divinity for money, for something specifically, all right, for initiation, do not use that money for anything other than your initiate. Don't be making pacts with spirit. Again, energy exchange. Don't be telling Oshun, bring me the money, Iya, ore, yeah, bring me the money to get initiated, and then you get it and you go out and buy jewelry. Don't do that. Don't do it. Please don't do that. Because again, it's energy exchange. It is energy exchange. It is energy exchange. It is energy exchange. All right? Give thanks. Go on over to aseire.com. Get the ebook. Get to learning. Watch the rest of the videos on the channel. If you're new here, go on all the way back to Ifa Orisha 101. I'm going to redo that one soon live. Ifa Orisha 101, 2 hours worth of introduction to the tradition. Hannah, I see your question about whether you can feel a connection. Short answer is yes. Absolutely. Go watch my video, The Truth About Initiation, on the YouTube channel. And I speak all about being connected to Orisha. There are levels of this, so one can absolutely feel connected to an Orisha without being initiated. All right, Kahisa, I'm so glad you love it. I'm glad you say it. So glad to know that you use it. Use it, use it, use it, use it. Safa, how do you connect to nature when you live with a fundamentally religious family? Yeah, that's a hard one. It can be hard, but guess what? Not hard at all, because all you got to do is go outside and connect. That's it. Sit by a tree. They don't have to know what you're doing, right? You don't have to say, I'm going and praying and doing. Just go. That's it. You connect by just doing it. You go out into nature. You sit by the river. You talk. You breathe. You pray. You can listen to my meditation albums, right? Which will take you into the realm of Ogun, into the realm of Obatala, right? Right in your headphones. Nobody will know what you're doing, right? And that's something else I'll say too, that many of us may come from families or environments that are not hospitable to us practicing African spirituality, and understand that you don't have to feel like you have to be a crusader from day one. Okay, I'll be the crusader for us, right? Send your, if you want to tell anybody about this, send them to my channel. Don't feel like you have to explain it by yourself. Say, listen, I want you to meet Iya Funlayo. Here's a link. Here's where she's gonna explain everything. And don't feel like, you have to be a crusader from the beginning. Know that you should continue to just do these things for yourself first. Make the connection first before you feel like you have to go out and, advocate for it. Sister Jonay, yes, absolutely. Great to build a relationship. Please go watch my other video on the truth about initiation, because it is a commitment / marriage. Absolutely. And so you wouldn't marry somebody you just met. So you shouldn't get initiated to an Orisha you just met. Spend some time, say some prayers, do the meditations, come to prayer meditation, see which ones you feel the most. The reason why we all feel the ancestral ones so strong is because we all are connected to the ancestors, right? And so maybe you'll feel about the law, maybe you'll feel some of the other ones more, and that will start to tell you about more. Tabitha, great question, and I think you're going to be the last one, because it's been over an hour. Time flies when we're having fun. Ceremonies virtually, this is very important, okay? Here's the things that can be done virtually as far as I'm concerned, and I'll tell you why. Again, everything makes sense. Think about what makes sense, okay? So readings, yes, can be done virtually, right? Misas, people have been doing virtual spirit circles that can be done virtually, and let's understand why those two things can be done virtually, right? Prayer circles can be done virtually, Reiki can be done virtually, right? So these are 4 modalities, 4 things that can be done virtually, all right? Readings, Misas or spiritual circles, prayer circles, and Reiki, right? 4 things. Why are those things that can be done virtually? Those things can be done virtually because what are they involving? If I'm doing a reading for you, I am praying to the divine to come down into me and help me to discern things from the spiritual realm. Okay, yes, I can do that without you being in the same room with me, right? If we're doing a prayer, misa or a spirit circle, same thing. Each person is praying to their own ancestors and spirit guides to be with them, to give them information to share, and then we're all sharing the information. Prayer circle, same thing. Reiki, same thing. That we are calling in the Reiki energy from ourselves and we are radiating it out. Right now, with something like receiving, with any kind of initiation, no, there is no way. If you have been told that there's no virtual initiation, right? Because physical processes have to be done to make an initiation valid. There are things that the priest has to do physically to you, right? Which cannot be done without being physically in the same place. So spiritual work can be done on one's behalf. We can do a bow on behalf of a client, right? If I can make offering to Orisha on your behalf, those things that are involving just pulling in from spirit and sending energy back out, those can be done, but not initiation. So thank you for asking that, because folks be doing all kind of craziness. Y'all are so welcome You are welcome. Safa, I understand. Please don't feel isolated. Come be with us. This is the Ase Ire family. Understand each of you, just by being here, you are a part of the family. We love you. We do this for you. I love you personally. I do this for you and for me and for all of us to have a place to come together, to not feel isolated, to get the right information, to be able to get the blessings that we are meant to get. That is why I do this. You are lovingly invited, if you feel so moved, to send love offerings to me over at $Funlayo at Funlayo W on Venmo, and Funlayo at AseIre.com, PayPal and Zelle. Of course, as we've talked about, energy exchange. So I pray for every single cent to multiply and return to you. Thank you, Allison. Thank you all so much for all of your love. I just give so much thanks for each of you. I want you to come on and visit me at AseIre.com. No, hey, that's the communiversity registration opens tomorrow. So be sure you're on the mailing list at AseIre.com so that you will get the message, be amongst the first to get messages, and enroll before the classes fill. You'll also get a little discount code in there. Classes are under $100, so you definitely can afford to invest in yourself. We keep everything reasonable because, again, this is African spirituality for the people at Ase Ire. We want you to come and get this medicine. We want to keep everything in the realm of you being able to access it because this is all for you. We give thanks. Also, of course, I will share too that you can text me. Let me know you were here today by texting Sunday to 917-634-4680. That is Sunday to 917-634-4680. That'll let me know that you were here today, and I might have a little something, a little special coming for somebody who was here today. I just might, so go on ahead and do it, okay? And let's see what happens. Give thanks, give thanks, give thanks. I'm so glad you all have enjoyed today. Lori, thank you so much for the glowing review of Communiversity. It's such a pleasure. Y'all know I love to teach. I love to spend time with you. And so we just give thanks. We give thanks always for being able to be together. Allison, no, unfortunately, that number does not work for WhatsApp. It's only a regular text number. So you can hit me up by email at Funlayo at AseIre.com. Okay, if you're not able to text. Give thanks to each of you who were here. We are so grateful. That number again, 917-634-4680 on your screen right now. Give thanks. I appreciate you. I look forward to seeing you. Join us for everything that we have going on. Hey, remember too that the Co-work Cafe is open on Mondays and Wednesdays now. Woo, 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 woo. Again, just for you. So please do come on and join us in the Co-work Cafe, especially if you're feeling isolated, working from home. Please do come and be with us. See, I love to make y'all laugh. Listen, I absolutely love it. I love being your favorite scholar priestess. I get to fulfill all of my dreams of being a singer, a comedian, a speaker. So thank you. It means a lot to me when you laugh at my jokes. Thank you so much, Wealthy Productions, for your contributions and being here with us today. Thank you, everybody who has joined us. Y'all go on ahead and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I'm about to go enjoy mine, spend some time with my husband, enjoy myself. Y'all enjoy too. It's been so good having this discussion about money. Make sure, again, that you always ask your Ori before spending money with anybody. Know that what we do makes sense. So if it don't make sense, don't do it. All right? Give thanks. Ase Ire family. Hey, y'all have a good day. See you registering for Communiversity tomorrow and shooting me a text. Odabo. Hey.